Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. My name is Tom Poland, beaming out to you from just on the sand next to the blue ocean and the white waves at Little Castaways Beach in Queensland, Australia, joined today by another Aussie. Paul, g'day. I can say that to you. Where are you hanging out?
In Melbourne, Tom. Prefer to
Melbourne.
be where you are, but I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, it's my favorite city in Australia, without question. Castaways is my favorite beach, but Melbourne's my favorite city, and we try to get down there, COVID permitting, at least twice a year. This is kind of the cultural capital of Australia. I think most people, other than those living in Sydney, would agree to that. Anyway, enough of our geography lessons. For those of you who don't know Paul, he's a high-performance business mentor. He's a podcaster. He's a published author who helps seven-figure business owners, so fair dinkum businesses, as we'd call them here down under, with sales and teams so they can build, live, and give. He's got 27 years experience in sales and marketing, and actually had an 18-year gig in the Coca-Cola company as a director, and you don't get more senior than that. Well, let's put it like this. It's virtually impossible to get more senior than as a director of a massive multinational conglomerate like that. So years of experience at the highest level globally. Paul, can't wait. The title is How to Build, Live, and Give. Paul's going to show us how to do that in less than 7 minutes. Getting my timer out. Paul, our time starts now. Question number one, sir. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client, Tom, is a service-based business owner, like you said, high six, early sevens, and a couple of particular ones that I normally work with are outsourcing companies, consultants, and also with tech resellers.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. 6.5 minutes left. Very succinct indeed. What is the problem you solve for those folk?
Yeah, look, the key thing is sales. So, most of them have done exceptionally well to get to that high 6-7 figures, but it's predominantly relied upon them, sales.
Right.
And, they really haven't systemized it. So if they leave the business, they can't get any more sales. Also, they're relying upon referrals, which has been great to now, but they're very lumpy. So they're sort of the two key problems that we often see.
Right. And so that probably leads us quite nicely to question number 3 is, what are the typical symptoms some people are experiencing this problem? And I imagine one of them must be they feel like there's a real burden on their shoulders to generate the majority of the sales. What else is going on in an organization where this leader has the problem that you can solve? In other words, how do they know they need you? What's going on?
Yeah, well, look, most of them have got an aspiration to sell their business. And as you know, it's very hard to sell your business if you don't have a repeatable sales system.
Yeah.
So they hit a ceiling in their aspirations. They just can't get to their aspirations. So that's one of the key things. The other is they're working too many hours because they can't hand off sales. So they just continue to do that. And, that has an impact upon their personal life. They're not, like for me, when I ran my tech consulting business, I left corporate not to work ridiculous hours, and I was doing that. And, from personal experience, I found that. The other thing is that they often get burnt by people that say they're going to fix it. So an agency will promise them the world.
Right.
No, not yours, Tom, but others. And, they just, burn a lot of money on agencies who overpromise and underdeliver.
Thanks for that, Paul. Question number 4, sir. What are some of the common mistakes that you see people making before they start working with you? They've got the problem, the sales is dependent on them, they don't have enough hours in a day, they can't sell a business because they don't have a repeatable sales process. The smart people, and they're ambitious, so they're going to try and fix the problem. What are some of the common mistakes they make that you see?
Yeah. So there's normally 2 big ones, Tom, and one is that they go and just hire a salesperson. So they hire a salesperson, often a person that's probably got more experience and is used to a business where a lot of it is systemized. Right. So they come in, they find out there's hardly any systems. The owner's too busy to give them that information. It just turns into not a great situation, and they leave. So, they've wasted 3 or 4 months trying to find the person. They've trained them for 3 or 4 months. They lost 6 months, and in some cases they're worse than where they were before. And the other one is when they say, hey, why don't I just bring someone in? This person sounds great, and they can just do commission subscription only sales for me, right? So it's no risk to me. They take all the risk. And I don't know how many times someone's tried that. I'm yet to find someone where that's really worked. But if you know someone, Tom, let me know.
No, I haven't found anyone either. And this is coming back again to that, your core value proposition, which is around this repeatable sales track, like a set of train tracks that can just deliver this predictable, reliable result independent of the owner of the business. And it's that lack that means these mistakes are mistakes, because whatever you put in there, there's no track, right? There's no repeatable sales process.
Spot on. And the ultimate thing, as I said, well, you said at the start, was build, live, give. Build's about building a great business, but it's there to fund your lifestyle, right? Because your lifestyle, you sitting in Castaway Beach is a great example. That's what's most important. And then you can give back to others. But you can't do that if you don't have a repeatable sales system, because you really haven't built an asset or a business. You've just really got a job.
Yeah, and you're probably very charismatic and get the runs on the board, but that can get a bit wearisome after a while. Question 5, Paul, and 3.5 minutes left. What's a valuable free action that someone listening to this, they've got the problem, they understand the symptoms, they might have even made the mistakes. What's a step they could go in the right direction? Not going to solve the whole problem, but it's going to help them a bit.
Yeah, so the first one is, and it's a bit overused, but I think it's got relevance today, is the sales funnel, right? Most people that have moved from a face-to-face sales method of now selling online, right? They're doing Zoom like this, they're doing video, but the problem is they're still selling the exact same way. They're not using video and technology to help people like, know, and trust you before you actually get in calls, right? So that's number one. 2 is selling successfully on social, right? So LinkedIn, massive B2B, but there's so many people that haven't been taught how to do it. And it is a skill to learn, but if you do learn that skill, you can get an enormous success. We've got for our community over 2,500 leads in the last 12 months. And lots of happy clients out of doing that. The last one is referral partners, right? So even with LinkedIn, you're trying to get individuals. Why don't you get partners that can get you 10, maybe clients a year? So you've got to sell to one person to get 10. I think that's a lot better. So those 3 things, if you did those 3 things alone, you'd be on a great path to building a repeatable sales system.
Great. It's gold in those suggestions. Thanks, Paul. Question 6, just under 2 minutes left. One valuable free resource we could direct folk to that's going to help them even more. Got a landing page, a URL?
Yeah. So a lot of people say, well, what's in a sales system, Paul? That's a bit esoteric. I don't know exactly what it is. And I've mentioned 3 of the components, but there's others. So what we do is allow you to go in and assess yourself against what we consider best practice. Now, best practice because, I've successfully exited a business. I've spent a lot of time at Coca-Cola. So you can go in and get those answers, but it's not just a BS quiz. It's actually an assessment, and then I have a call with you, not a sales call, but a call to help. And it's at paulhigginsmentoring.com/assessment.
So www.paulhigginsmentoring.com/assessment. Thank you, sir. That could be pretty invaluable. So let's, 60 seconds left. Last question. So what's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Yeah, so why me?
So Paul, why you?
Great question, Tom. So, look, one is my experience in corporate. And the great thing with the Coca-Cola company, we sold to some of the biggest companies in the world, but also to mum and pop shops, right? So our training was very broad. You might have a broad audience as well. So I think that's it. The second thing is that I've been there, done that. So I was at, the situation where a business partner and I was all doing all the sales myself. And then a little thing came up in my life, which was called a kidney failure. And I had to get a transplant. I had to work from a hospital bed. So I was forced to build a system, a sales system that I could run from a dialysis machine, basically, and did that. And then the last thing is we've got results. So, in the last 12 months, we've got people, I myself have got 2.5 million views, but we've got, I think it was added up to about 12.5 million views for people in our community.
Thank you very much, sir. Time has stopped. You delivered extraordinary value. Thanks for rocking up.
Thanks, Tom. Enjoyed it.
Cheers. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.